Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Conversations with Shawna show. I will be coming here live every Tuesdays and Thursdays with different guests. And so please join us. The schedule is typically going to be the same time every Tuesday and Thursday, but every once in a while, like today, we'll switch to a Monday or a Tuesday night, but I will give you 24 hours notice. So hi there. For those of you that I have not met me yet, my name is Shawna Roche, and I am a transformational coach. And I work with my clients to help them through fear, doubt, and uncertainty into love, expansion, and possibilities. So if you're joining us live, say hi, let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're, good morning, and if you're coming in from my Powerhouse Women group, there's a link above for StreamYard. Please click on the link and give StreamYard permission, then I can see your lovely face, your name, and your comments. Otherwise, I can't see who's commenting. So thank you so much. And those of you on the replay, give me #replay so I can say hi later. And so now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Carly Banks. Welcome, Carly.
Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you, Shawna?
I'm very good. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, of
course. So, this is exciting. I love it because there's so much about what you do, and we're going to get into it that fascinates me, that in my head's just like going, ooh, this is just going to be juicy fun. So with Carly today, as you can see there under her name, at the Habit Ayurveda, Carly Banks teaches simple daily routines that support our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. As an entrepreneur and mother of 2 young children, Carly is no stranger to feeling busy. And we were just talking about this. So, and she knows the importance of creating healthy habits that feel easy to implement. As an Ayurvedic health counselor, Carly promotes self-care techniques backed by thousands of years of exploration. I love that. We want to tap into that. So no gimmicks, no equipment, no supplements, just simple actions for being well. So I loved that. And welcome, Carly. How are you, my dear?
I am very well today. And like a truly tech-savvy online entrepreneur, I failed to plug in my laptop and I'm running out of batteries. So can I just quickly plug it in?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's like, you know what? And I'll just start. It's like a Monday morning. And I found this morning too, I was trying to set everything up for me. And with the beautiful summer we've had here, I've had my office outside in my sunroom. So it was like 0 degrees there today. And I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work. I'm going to move everything back inside. Where did I put my summer cord? So yeah, I know, like I had stuff scattered everywhere. So I was like, yeah.
Well, I was saying to Shawna yesterday, of course, we had our interview booked for a different time, and my son started preschool today, so I had to bump it a little bit, and he's downstairs. So you might have the opportunity to meet him because that's how life goes these days.
You know what? It does. And I love that as an entrepreneur, we just go with the flow. And it's something that I've learned over the last 2 years. And I love it from having a corporate job and being so like, bam, 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 bam. You know, now I'm just going with the flow. It's like, what feels right today?
Yeah. Well, and isn't that just the feminine way? I think this is a great opportunity for us all to embrace what going with the flow really looks like. And, you know, we don't have to fight upstream so hard. It feels so much easier when I let go of all the extra responsibilities and embrace exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your journey into how, let's tell us about Ayurvedic. And I'm trying to say this right. I signed up for Carly's course a couple of weeks ago, and I had a lot going on, and I'm just kind of diving into it. And so there's so much amazing stuff about it. So what's your story? How did you come into this? Because I've never heard about Ayurvedic before until my girlfriend Megan told me about it.
Mm-hmm. So I'll start by saying Ayurveda is one of the oldest holistic healing modalities in history. Good morning, Patty. It is the sister science to yoga, but it's an in-depth physiological science for 7,000 years is how far the texts date back. And it's a system of understanding the human body and how it works in relation to its environment. So its relation to the moon cycles and to the seasonal cycles and to the cycles of the 24-hour, your circadian rhythm. And in understanding how your body functions in relation to your environment, you have a real opportunity to, to leverage when your body really wants to be doing things, and it really simplifies your day and helps your body function much better. So that's my aim. And I got into this in the depths of postpartum depression. I was in a real bad place when my second child was born and experiencing what Ayurveda calls extreme pitta imbalance. I had a lot of heat, a lot of anger, a lot of irritability, criticism, carried a lot of resentment, and it made me just feel almost like a prisoner in my own home and angry with everybody in my life situation. And it came to the point where I was having rage episodes daily. I was crying every day. I wasn't self-harming or physically harming my family, but certainly, having screaming fits at my husband, and came to a point one day where my son was not napping. He was colicky, doing what a baby does. And I ended up screaming at him and punching the walls in his nursery. And my husband had to carry me out and locked me in the bedroom. And that was when I knew I really needed something had to change. Right.
Yeah.
And, I booked an appointment with my doctor. I didn't know anything about Ayurveda. I had practiced some yoga, but never had heard of Ayurveda. I booked an appointment with my doctor to get back on the antidepressants that I had been on since I was a teenager through adulthood. But I got off them to have children. And the weekend before I was supposed to go and see her, I met with a friend who was visiting from out of town, who she had been just like me. After postpartum, she was angry and rageful and, just couldn't keep it together, felt completely emotionally out of control. And she moved away. She started learning about Ayurveda. She came back into town and she was glowing, Shawna. Her hair was glowing. The tone of her voice had changed. She was like leaned back, open-hearted posture all the time. And just everything just seemed so easeful to her. She had lost 65 pounds. And she explained that she had been learning about Ayurveda and the system of just making little shifts in your daily routine to put your body, your mental function, your digestive function, your organ function first. And it changed everything for her. And like by the end of our conversation, I was signed up for school.
I love that you said that, because your mental, your digestive, your organs. There was a few things where you said stuff that I was just like, so could resonate with. And even though I've never had children, so I haven't gone through, the postpartum, like all that kind of stuff. But being at the age I am, and we were just talking about this, it's like the hormonal stuff for women right now, right? And going through all of that. And for me, I've had I don't even like to say it out loud anymore, but insomnia for years and years and years, because I've been working through that. So I don't like to give that title any more attention. Am I creating more problems or creating a bigger problem with my lack of sleep by talking about it this way?
Right. Identifying with it.
Yeah. So that was one of the things here. And I just wanted to just say this, and we'll touch on it too, because you mentioned a lot of stuff. Like I just put here, like one of the things that I was reading about it was like the digestive health, the sleep patterns, the energy level, organ function, hormone production, your nervous system settings, tendency to gain weight, lose weight, hold weight, skin conditions, like all of this. And it's just like, wow. And yeah, so let's just talk about how you kind of figure out where you're at and how this all works.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to the hormone thing, this has been something that's really fascinating for me too, especially as a woman, because we do have these two major events in our lives that massively change your hormone structure. And we are at our most depleted postpartum and our most depleted post-menopause. And we're not doing ourselves any favors in the culture that we live in right now to support ourselves through that. In other cultures, women take as much time as they need postpartum to heal and regain balance in the body, where here we're more supposed to just get back on the horse and get up and act normal. Well, that creates a lot of problems down the road. We tend to ignore like the long-term effects. But for example, we take action from estrogen and adrenaline. When you run out of adrenaline, women have backup estrogen, which is why during your monthly cycle, for example, when you're ovulating and your estrogen levels are high, you have a lot more energy than when you're in PMS and your estrogen is in a downturn. So we have this sort of backup battery of estrogen. Well, when you tax out your estrogen, then you are relying on your adrenal function. And then when you reach menopause, you stop producing estrogen, and then your adrenals are shriveled and sad and so burnt out already because you've been overdoing it your whole life. Like, you're done. So, we got to figure out little ways that we can help our body. We're stuck in stress response all the time, especially, with all the chaos in our environment, all the things that are happening right now, and the way, human energy works, where we're not only dealing with our own internal thoughts all the time, but also the energy that's just emanating off of everybody, which is sort of high level anxiety right now.
Yeah.
You have to start implementing tools for yourself to step out of that stress response. Because that's when we're stuck producing the cortisol, which gets your adrenals going. And if you're always like that, you're going to have insomnia. You're going to hold on to weight and not be able to let it go. And you're going to be just taxing your hormones all the time, and you're going to crash.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, for sure. Definitely. Wow. I was like, oh, yep, nope, can identify with that. And it's interesting because even as like a mindset coach and all the work I do, coming from fight or flight into rest and repose, but there's times now where I actually recognize now, and I'm listening to my body, where even though doing some of the personal development and all the work for the last few years, I wasn't listening to my body. I was still like squishing stuff down and going, yep, no, we're good, and just powering through. And it was interesting because when I listened to your little webinar there, your introduction to all of it, so much of it I could resonate with, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then on top of all the work I've already done, I'm like, it just really made sense for me. And one of the big things that made sense with me is the mindset part. Like, it was like all the different parts that make up. Then it's kind of like, let's work on your habits. Let's do this. Then let's talk about food. Yeah. And I love the way the system works that way. And what part really intrigued me as well is my conversation with Megan when she was here that one weekend, because we were talking about food and we were she was creating this beautiful breakfast. And so I loved it because so many times that we think to be healthy, to be fit, it's like, okay, I got to work out this many hours a day. I got to do protein 5 times a day. Every 2 hours, I got to shove something in my, I got to have a protein. I've got to do this. I got to do this, got to do that. And I was doing that like January, February, March. But for some reason, my body was not liking that at all. And I'm like, but this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, isn't that exhausting? And, even because we're so stuck in this mindset of like diet mentality, even when you start to Google Ayurveda, what comes up is finding your dosha or your mind body type in Ayurveda, and then what you should eat according to that. And I think that is not only so boring, but it feels like so much information to take in, to look at a list of all of the foods that I should and shouldn't be eating, and then try and deduce like how to make meals from that and how to also make them for my family. I think that just makes zero sense. So not applicable. So I wanted to look at what other interesting aspects there are to Ayurveda, because it's a very holistic. And I started to learn that way more interesting than what you're eating is when you're eating and why you're eating and how you're showing up to your meals. So we in the Everyday Ayurveda course, this is the course that Shawna's just joined, is we start with learning about the function of your digestive system and when is the best time to take in food, no matter what your dosha is, but when the human body has evolved to take in a large amount of food. We are, and I'll go off on a little bit of a tangent about this, but we are diurnal creatures. We're primates on this planet that are awake during the day and we sleep at night. We've evolved to be able to see during daylight hours. We can't see in the dark. Therefore, the human body, because it's, a working whole, all the parts work together, makes sense that we haven't actually evolved to be eating when it's dark outside. So they've learned, and modern science is now backing up all of this, you guys. So now we understand that when the sun is highest in the sky, your liver is producing the most bile to break down your foods. So you are most capable of digesting a meal between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. And with even just making that small shift, moving my meals, I started, I thought I was taking sort of like a half-assed approach to all of this, but the changes that I saw, like I was into this for 3 months. This is why my course is 3 months, because I did it for 3 months and I lost 35 pounds and everything about my life was different. And it was just absolutely fabulous. So I started by just changing the times of my meals. Biggest meal at lunchtime, and then having something as like a supplement. Supper comes from the word like sup or sip. Before the Industrial Revolution, before we worked our 9 to 5s, we would be farmers and we would eat this large meal in the middle of the day and then have something smaller at night just to get us through the night until the next day. We would have a pot of soup on all day or something like this, right? And so I started to do this, still feeding my family the same meal at dinner, and then I would have my leftovers for lunch the next day. And just lost a ton of weight. I was still eating Nanaimo bars, Cool Ranch Doritos, ice cream. I would just have it after lunch, right? And then properly spacing the meals in between. And it just made such a difference. And then, you spoke to the mindset piece. And this is something that Megan Alton had really great feedback for me for as well. And something I experienced is this is like the back door to the mindset stuff. We can do as much journaling and manifesting as we want. Highly recommend both practices. And Megan says, it was like just the missing puzzle piece to the work that she's doing. Now she's got the body and the mind together. And so as I started to digest properly and eat at the right times and not overload my digestive tract with a ton of food. It takes us a lot of energy to digest, right? So if you've got food in your mouth and some in your colon and some in your small intestine from earlier and some in your large intestine, like you're creating a traffic jam, and that's a lot of energy being used up. But if you're giving yourself enough time to fully digest and move through your digestive tract before you eat again, then your body starts to break down the fats, and it also starts to release toxins more effectively. And then you have a healthier gut microbiome, which creates more serotonin. We create 95% of your serotonin, your happy hormones, in your gut. So why not get your gut healthy? It's like an antidepressant.
I love that. I had no idea. I'm just like, I just find this so fascinating because I looked at what I did in January, February, March. I was like, oh my goodness. And trying to eat. And then I was literally at a point where it was, my sleeping was so messed up. I actually found my working hours were like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
No.
So then I was like, okay, this is not healthy if I keep going this way. This is not the habit I want to create. And then at 2 a.m., I'd be starving. And so I found myself at 2 a.m. my husband's sleeping. I'm trying to go in the kitchen. I'm like, frick, I'm hungry. What do I eat? So then it was like, well, I don't know. You're trying to be quiet, right? So it's like cheese and crackers, or, and then I was like trying more milk and a banana. And so then all of a sudden it was like, okay, 2 a.m. eating. This is not healthy either. But I love what you're saying, because especially now, let's talk about that, because with the time changing and it's getting darker earlier, because in the summer I found like sometimes we wouldn't eat till like 7 o'clock or so, like sometimes even if we had friends over, it was like, okay, let's face it, drinks and happy, so you're not eating till like so it's just to tell the truth. It's like, you know what I mean? But now that, as you were saying that, I'm thinking, okay, well, now it's getting darker, and then what about when it starts getting darker at 5? So it's like, wow, you're really helping me rethink how I'm going to, definitely make my lunch the bigger meal and make some changes there right away.
Yeah. Well, in the fall is a great time to do that, right? Because you're right. It is hard to wrap your head around, like, well, the sun is out till 10, so party on, right? And just, as a disclaimer, I'm a human being. I had lots of barbecues and camping and beers and all the things all summer. And that's why, partially why in Ayurveda, again, for centuries, there's been a system of having like a cleanse or a flush in the spring and in the fall to prepare the body for, moving forward, and to flush excess toxins from the body. So in October, I'm running a 21-day detox to flush out all that excess heat from the summer. We build up a lot of heat from the environment, from the sweet foods that are naturally occurring traditionally, but also, all the ice cream that we eat at Dairy Queen, and then the heat that comes into the body from excess alcohol, things like that. And it just really provides you with a nice reset. But fall is just such a nice time to get into this, because already you're in this position where the sun's going down, you feel like getting cozy in your blankets and having those nighttime routines, and it just makes it all so much more acceptable to you.
Well, you know what? And as you're saying that, and hi, Patty, this is making so much sense. Yes.
Nice.
I just wanted to check here. Hi, whoever that is. Sorry, you must have in the group. Yeah, if you click on the StreamYard link, it'll give you permission to let us know who you are. But I love that you said that, because as you're saying that, and like the coziness, and I just found like this morning, I've been doing I pulled my exercise bike out in our sunroom, and I love it because our sunroom, like sometimes it gets 30 degrees out there by like 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning. So I like give her on it, like drink lots of water, and I give her. And then this morning I went out there and I'm like, ooh, it's 0 degrees. Not doing the bike this morning. It's a little chilly. And as you're saying all that, I'm like, yeah, because now my routine is going to be changing to my indoor routine. And now all of a sudden I'm sitting here, as you've said that, because we predominantly make our dinner our bigger meal.
Yes.
And like, because my husband comes home at 6, then we cook this big meal. And it's interesting, it's like not every day, but I do like my wine. I mean, I have wine Wednesdays in my group, my page. Like we're bringing it back this week. Wine Wednesday starts. So it's like I do like a glass of wine now and then. And but now thinking about it too, because with the way I've been eating, because a lot of times in the middle of the night, it's a period from almost like 1 a.m. to about 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. my body's just hot.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I was doing your dosha and figured out with the pita as well, thinking the body hot, I'm thinking, oh, maybe that has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
So I just, as you're talking, I'm like going, oh, well, maybe, like you said, change the heavy meal to lunch, and then dinner, because it's getting cooler. Maybe I'll just start making some nice soups.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's soup season for sure. It's interesting that there are different times during the day where the doshas are more relevant in your body or show up a little bit more in the body. And so this like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is pitta time, where there's more fire, your digestive fires are burning. This is like your metabolism. And then 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is also pitta time. And what's happening here is you're doing these metabolic processes. Your liver is flushing, you're rebuilding cells, you're doing this restorative work, you're like doing all your digestive work as well. So if you've eaten late, then your body's really turning up the fire to try and digest all the food that you ate, because, you know, we live on this like up and down axis. Like, we're not meant to eat a bunch of food and then lay down and then try to digest. It's just adding a little bit of added work, right? So you're really trying to turn up the fire and digest your food. And it's true, when I eat late, that's very common for me as well, Shawna, is to wake up around 1 a.m. and be so hot and sweating.
Yeah. Oh,
it's pitta.
I'm like, yay. Okay. I'm learning so much.
So yeah, if you lighten up a little bit on the evening meal, and yeah, you'll have a much better sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I can't, I'm so excited. Like I said, I've just started the course and doing like all the orientation parts now. Now I'm jumping into like the first part, the habit. But yeah, just really understanding having broccoli soup right now. Awesome. And just understanding, right? Like the three different, like you said, the three different doshas. And then I might be like stronger in one, but there's like whatever my number was in the other two doshas, which then equates to where I need to, how do you say that? Where I'm out of alignment.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, it's fascinating to me. We can go, there's many classes in Ayurveda that we need to go into here, but
it's fascinating.
Coming out of this hot summer pitta season, we all have more of a tendency toward excess heat in the body. And so we work to flush that in this fall detox. And then going into winter, this is called Vata season. So we all would have a more tendency toward, you know, it's cold outside, it's dry, like the air is crispy dry. So we have this tendency toward like dry skin, feeling very cold, circulation slowing a little bit, really needing to put on those layers. And when you feel a lot of dryness and coldness, there can be a bit of a tendency toward anxiety or like feeling ungrounded as well. So we always take opposite actions to balance. So we focus on more warm, nourishing foods like the squashes and the soups in the evenings, and then practices that really lubricate the body very well so that your circulation stays up and you're feeling well nourished. It's lovely.
I'm loving it because I'm like, oh yeah, because there is the different seasons. Mm-hmm. And so I've never actually ever thought of my body changing with those seasons, and really, like you said, just like the daytimes and then the seasons. So now my body's going to be this way with food or this way. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I'm excited to dive into the course.
Right. And, you know, it's funny because we think about making changes and implementing new routines and things as difficult. Always, any kind of change feels difficult. But this is, I swear, I always get the feedback from my clients that their bodies breathe this sigh of relief because it's actually easier to eat seasonally, you know, to go and buy the groceries or the produce that is on sale at the supermarket is what's in season. And so it's cheaper and it's what your body wants. It's great. And then, you know, there's a question here. Do you do anything special to detox yourself? Yeah. So, you know, first of all, I've been talking about these 2 seasonal detoxes that we do. So this is a really intensive, deeper detox, really inviting you for 3 weeks to cut back on your excess responsibilities, communicate to the people in your community or in your life that I'm focusing inward for the next couple of weeks. And then we do some traditional practices using spices. I don't like to prescribe herbal remedies to people because you can heal yourself with food. Food is medicine. So spice mixes, ginger, turmeric is obviously a powerhouse herb in Ayurveda and the rest of the world. So we use things like this, and then some traditional recipes from Ayurveda to just help flush out any built up toxins in the system. And then inside the Everyday Ayurveda course, every day you have an opportunity to implement little practices that detox your body every day. So one of the things that we do is, for example, tongue scraping. And I wish I had it with me, but if you've never seen a tongue scraper, it's like this metal, like rainbow looking thing. It's like this curved thing, and you hold it and scrape your tongue off. And what happens is your digestive tract, it flushes out your toxins overnight, and it'll place some of the toxins in the colon for flushing, in the kidneys to through your urine in the morning, and then also in the mouth. So you want to wash out all of those excess toxins in the morning. And it's just a really nice, it feels really nice. I will never not do it now that I do it. My breath smells better. I don't have halitosis.
How often do you do it?
Every morning. Yeah.
My dentist gave me one years and years ago. And so as you say that, I pull it out every once in a while.
It's great. It's it's something, it's a habit that's relatively easy to pick up, right? And this is something that I find very important to discuss and is part of the course. And I'm sure, you probably talk about it as in your coaching as well, is how to make a habit out of doing something. Yeah. So I do a lot of research into modern habit change science and, the importance of like linking up the new thing you want to do with something you're already doing. And so tongue scraping is easy because if you put it right next to the toothbrush, right where you can see it, then you'll remember to do it. And then, after 28 days or 64 days or whatever science is saying is the new time to create a habit, you just won't even think about it anymore. It's just something that you do. And then it no longer requires, motivation every day to try and.
I love that. I'm so getting my note and putting it beside my toothbrush.
Do it.
You know what I ever did when I wasn't feeling good and you're feeling sick and your tongue gets all fuzzy?
Yeah.
Kind of like, and you can't taste things. That's when I would use it.
Yeah. Highly recommend every day as like a preemptive, detox. And it stimulates a bowel movement as well. So there's things like that. There's the practice of Ushapan, which is like just chugging a ton of water immediately upon waking. That's another trigger for the body to flush out the toxins. Really important that we don't walk into today carrying yesterday's what, right?
Oh my God. I love that. For years, I had problems there. Wow. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Got some questions here. I signed for 1 p.m. Interested in learning more, Carly. Woo-hoo.
Excellent. Yeah, that must be my
that's amazing, Carly. It doesn't take long to make a new habit. Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do here as well, Carly, is in the comments. Then I will get you to post your link here. You can do it now or you can hang on and we can do it later. Put your link in here, how people can get a hold of you. Because this is so amazing. Like, oh my God. I mean, we could just talk about this forever.
I would. I do.
I printed off the one part of the course. I got my little Carly binder and I was just going through it and I was like, it's not something I want to rush through. And I love that your modules are self-paced because I'm sitting here going, I really want to dive into this because I find it so flippin' fascinating because it's stuff I've never thought about before. And I love that it's like 7,000 years old kind of thing, like ancient. And I'm looking at, and I looked at some of the recipes and I was blown away by it. And you and I'll have to have a conversation. I was like, I don't even know what half this stuff is. Like there was some stuff in there, some spices I've never heard of. And then I was like, oh, so the spices, where do you buy the spices? Do you go to a health food store or...
No, they sell them all at Superstore or wherever.
Okay, so that was my other thing. It's like turmeric, right? So it's like, is there a special turmeric I have to buy or?
Okay. No, I mean, of course, organic is always great if you can find it. But
yeah. It's Heather. Hi, Heather, my girlfriend, Heather. Thank you so much. Okay, access, not sure why I'm not showing. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Something's obviously going on the StreamYard. But thank you, Heather. Oh, my goodness.
So I don't know how to write in there's no block for me to write in my information.
Okay, so let's see, www, is it?
Yeah, thehabit.net. So right now I have a free class that I'm running on Ayurveda, learning about your dosha or that mind body type in Ayurveda, and creating the perfect day around that. And then I'm also running a detox again in October. Starts October 9th. It's 3 weeks. I know for us Canadians, Thanksgiving weekend is the first weekend, but this is why a detox should be a little bit longer in length, because you ease in and then you ease out. The deep detox is 1 week. Okay. So even like 4 days. So you will be eating Thanksgiving dinner, maybe a little bit more mindfully, maybe a little bit earlier, so you have a little bit more time to digest. You know, if you could be eating your giant slice of pie by 4:30 in the afternoon, then go for a walk. You're golden, right? It's just little shifts to make life work easier alongside your body.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm streaming this to both my business pages. So it's now put your website and your detox there in both business pages. Yeah. So, well, stay on for 1 second, Carly. I just got a quick question for you. So thank you so much for joining me today. And everybody else, reach out to Carly. She's amazing, and find out more about all this amazing stuff we're talking about in the Ayurveda. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, you got it. Have a great day, everyone.
You do also on your website, there's a quiz so they can take the quiz. Because
that's right. Yes.
Patty was just bringing that up. Yeah.
It's so easy. And it is. It's really like finding out, like your astrological sign, when you learn more about yourself, and so many people just find so much resonance and they go, oh my goodness, that's me. So I'd love to have you on my page as well. Sure. Facebook user, reach out to me. I am at facebook.com/the habit Ayurveda as well.
Yeah, you can contact her. I think it's Heather again. So I'm gonna have to find out why from my women's group why it's not showing up. So, but thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Carly, and reach out to Carly. It's amazing. Take care, everybody. Bye.